And this is exactly why we need a video cast of this show.
You like my dance moves?
You have to like shake your shoulders to the song when no one can see you. But yeah.
You can see me, unfortunately for you.
The song isn't even that good.
I love it.
You would. Welcome to While She's Napping. I am Adam.
And I'm Cindy.
And hey, there's not many people in the world that would look forward to everyone looks forward to going on vacation, but not many people in the world look forward to going on vacation. The first thing they do is shampoo the rug.
It was so fun.
I shit you not, when you told me, hey, out of the blue, I bought a rug cleaner, carpet cleaner. I was like, I have a little chub. I'm not even going to lie about it. I'm a little turned on.
How about now that the rug is clean?
It looks okay.
It needs another Passover. I guess I'll have to do that every day during vacation.
That's not you. That's not your fault.
No, it's just been way too long since we've cleaned the rug, and it's like an off-white color, and we have a toddler and a cat, and it's a bad combination.
You're like, you ready to be turned on, and you show me the dirty water.
Yep.
I'm like, not bad.
Yep.
Anyway, so yeah, hey, we're recording this Sunday afternoon. She is actually napping right now. And today we're going to talk about pet peeves. Now, before we do this, I just want to say there's a good chance that the claws are going to come out here on either end, you or I. Just want to say I love you very much, and I appreciate everything you do before we rip each other apart.
Yep, ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also want to say that I feel like we've been trying to stay relatively, positive through everything that's going on in the world right now. And I completely realize that this is like such minute shit that we're going to complain about. Yeah. And like, I think that it will be a little bit therapeutic to just think about like minor bullshit that bothers us. And that's kind of how I'm coming at this.
Okay. Well, before we get into it, let's get some house cleaning out of the way. If you're listening to this for the first time, we say this every week, welcome. Newcomers, welcome. If you found this arbitrarily, whether on a social media platform like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or maybe on Reddit, we welcome you, and we hope you enjoy the show. Basically, if you're new to the show, you can look at our archives of the show, and you can just pick any episode. They don't have to be listened to in order. You can listen to any episodes you want in any order you want. It doesn't matter. But with that, I'd like to say that we are close to our 1,000th download, which is pretty good for a new show. And I want to give a shout out to everybody that's been listening in the United States, Canada, Australia, Spain. Is it Nepal? Mm-hmm. Nepal. What up, Nepal? United Kingdom, Greece, and fucking Romania. You came back for more. Romania came back. Specifically within the U.S., obviously Rhode Island's representing us, Massachusetts, California, Virginia, Florida, New Hampshire, Connecticut, Louisiana, New York, Texas. Hope you guys pull out of that. Michigan, Ohio, Arizona, you guys too. Georgia, New Mexico, Oregon, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, parts unknown. If you think about it, parts unknown is within the top 5 people, or territories rather, that listen to our show. It's just always labeled last because Podbean is like, I don't know what the fuck these guys are. But yeah, shout out to everyone that's listening. And of course, we say this every week. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please take the time to give us 5 stars and a quick review. We got one more last week. We appreciate the feedback. I know who you are. You guys are good friends of ours. We appreciate the kind words. We're honored rather to be giving you some sort of entertainment and conversation piece for your day-to-day life. Do you want to go over the socials? Because you did so well last week.
Oh, thanks.
Anonymity.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for reminding me. Yes, we are.
We need to make a shirt that says anonymity.
That's not even what I said.
You said anonymity.
Yes.
But, or no, because if you say if I'm anonymous, that makes sense.
Right.
It has to be like anonymous.
You sound like Nemo trying to say anemone. That's what it sounds like.
Anonymity.
No, I know. Right now, you're trying to think through it. That's what it reminds me of.
I guess what I
Finding
said
Nemo.
before is that you don't have to listen to these shows in order. Well, you kind of got to listen to last week
Right,
if you
to
listen
understand.
to this week.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, we are on Facebook at facebook.com/while she's napping. That's where we always post if we have an episode where we're going to do some polls to get some feedback. That's where those will be posted. We also post them on our Instagram in our stories. So on Instagram at while she's napping, and we're also on Twitter at she's napping pod. You can also email us if you would like to remain anonymous.
While she's napping at gmail.com.
Hey, so what you were giving the shout out to all the states and speaking
Territories,
of
countries,
speaking of COVID and everything that's going on there, I don't want to talk about it a lot, but I did see an article this morning that from CNN that Rhode Island and Connecticut are the only two states that are trending down or who saw a decrease in cases since last week.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about how we're proud to be from Rhode Island through all this, and that's some good news for us, but a little scary for the rest of the country.
I haven't really seen anybody not wearing a mask here in Rhode Island. I know on Friday, our positivity rate was about 1.1% with 25 new cases. They don't report them for the weekend. On the weekend, we find out information on Monday. But hey, shout out to Rhode Island, guys. Mask it or casket. That's it. It's like click it or ticket, but mask it or casket. Just wear your fucking mask, and you guys, everything's going to be good. 4th of July is coming up. If you guys just keep wearing your mask and keep doing what we got to do, this is going to be over quicker. And the quicker we do that, the quicker we can get back into normalcy. But speaking of this week, I said Canada's listening to us. Shout out to Canada. Happy Canada Day upcoming. This will be in your feeds on Monday. So in 2 days, it will be Canada Day. We will be celebrating by having some homemade poutine in the house with some meat pie. True Canadian style. So happy Canada Day.
We got to get some Labatt's too.
That's true. And hey, we won't be recording before the 4th of July either. So, of course, happy Independence Day to all of our fellow Americans out there. What are we drinking, Bud?
I don't know. Probably.
Have Bud and McDonald's?
Oh, God.
I mean, that's
burgers and hot dogs.
Basically.
Yeah.
Right?
The go-to 4th of July stuff.
Okay.
We can have whatever we want. Doesn't matter.
Regardless.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's freedom, right? We can have whatever we want. We're free.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What were you asking? Hey, so pet peeves. How are we structuring this? Because we broke this down on Facebook in our polls with relationships, or in terms of what's a pet peeve that you have with your partner, driving, society, work. What are we doing?
We did the poll categories were driving, social media, the workplace or your office, and relationship.
All right, so do you want to do 2 and 2?
I think we should just do all the public ones first and then the relationships second, because there was a lot. We got a lot of extra commentary on the relationship pet peeves.
Okay, so you're saying that's going to take probably the majority of the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you kick it off? Go ahead.
All right. So our first pet peeve that we polled everyone on was about driving. And I really wanted to cover this category because you and I have pretty different driving styles, I would
Techniques.
say. Yeah. I give you a lot of shit about your driving and vice versa. Although you're almost always the one who's driving because you get car sick. So when we're both in the car, you're almost always the one driving. Yeah. So I give you a lot of shit about your driving because I'm always the passenger.
Look, I drive like a Rhode Islander.
Yeah,
okay?
you do.
We are in Rhode Island, right? So when you see 65, it means like 75, 80 most of the time.
Yeah, see, that's fine. But my issue is if I'm already going 75 in a 65 or even a 55, like it is on Route 95 and most of it, and I'm passing everybody in the right lane, there's no need for you to be tailgating me at that point.
What if
I am
someone
working
has an
on
emergency?
What? That's not what's happening.
What,
that's not what
know?
you do. Because I'm the passenger when you're driving and doing that to other people.
No, I get pissed when. All right, let's just go over the polls.
Okay,
what do we got?
So,
what were the options, and then we can talk about
we
other driving.
We did
pet peeves.
tailgating. That was one of the options, and then the other one was when people stop at a yield when
Hate
there's
that shit.
okay. But there's a difference between if you're yielding to other traffic who's coming and you don't have a path to move into traffic, you have to stop. But the problem is when you stop at a yield and there's no traffic coming. It's not a stop sign. You only have to yield if there's traffic to yield to. So that was the other option.
Pay attention, boomers.
Yeah, stopping at a yield when there is no traffic to yield to. So this was actually a pretty close one with the results. I compiled both Facebook and Instagram, and they were pretty close. Actually, they were opposite. So on a Facebook post, we had 43% who voted for tailgating being the worst pet peeve and 57% for stopping at a yield. And on Instagram, it was 62% for tailgating and 38% for stopping at a yield.
Yeah.
So it's pretty split.
It should be stopping at a yield. Look, I can deal with tailgating because you can move over. You have options. If you're in a single lane, fuck that guy. Fuck that person behind you.
Especially if you're already going the speed limit or above. Yes, but I'm saying if it's in a situation where I'm in the left lane because I am passing the traffic who's in the right lane and I'm already going over the speed limit, just fucking wait for me to pass the people in the right lane and then I will move over and let you go. You don't need to be on my ass the whole time.
Or just go faster.
That's not going to make... No, if I'm already going like 75 and a 65, if I'm already going over the speed limit, I'm not going to speed and drive unsafely because you're too impatient.
I don't know. I think there's something to be said that if you're driving in the high speed lane,
it's not the high speed lane, it's the passing lane.
Listen, it's 2020.
No, if I'm just hanging out in the left lane just for shits and I'm not passing anybody and I'm blocking traffic, I understand that. And I've tailgated people for that reason too, because that's really fucking annoying. But if I'm passing people in the right lane, just wait and I will move over after I pass those people.
But my strategy while driving in the left lane is to always pass, is to pass everybody. So I'm in the passing lane.
Right, but you don't have to be tailgating the person in front of you.
I'm just saying that person should be driving faster.
Says who?
It is this. It is
says you.
The unwritten rule that this is.
No, it's not.
In our social contract, the left lane is the high speed lane. Let's just call it what it is. I don't care,
especially if I have my kid with me in the car. I'm not going to go 80 or 90 miles an hour because you're being an asshole and you have to tailgate me.
Chances are the right lane or the middle lane or whatever that you're passing has some openings that you can go in and you can wait for them to pass you and then go back in the left lane.
No, you don't go back in the left lane. The left lane is for passing.
Here's what you do. I'm saying if you're blocking, quote unquote, the high speed lane, right? And you see an opening in the right lane next to you, but without passing the cars in front of you, right?
So you want me to slow down in order to move over to let you go? No,
I'm saying if there's an opening in the right-hand side, you take that opening and there's going to be a car in front of you that's going slower. You wait for the cars to pass you, and then when there's an opening again, you pass back and go back in.
Yeah, that's what I do. But if... I'm not going to slam on my brakes. If the car in the right lane is going like 15 or 20 miles per hour slower than I am, I'm not going to slow down that much to move in behind them.
We're just bickering. Look,
yeah, anyway.
yield is by far the most annoying because it's not a stop sign. And I can't tell you how many times we approach a yield and I'm 20 feet behind the car and I'm saying, yield does not mean stop. Yield does not mean stop. Yield does not mean stop. And that car is stopping when you don't have to. There's no oncoming traffic.
Well, but when you're that far behind them, though, you can't see. You don't know if there's traffic oncoming.
Yes, you can.
I guess it depends where you are.
Typically, you can see the lane coming in. There's hardly ever any traffic.
That's really annoying.
So annoying.
And then if you hit them, you're at fault because you rear-ended.
Do you have any other driving pet peeves that you want to
So there were a couple others people chimed in on. Shitty parking, which...
On the lines?
Yep.
Awful.
Mm-hmm. That made me think of parallel parking. I just avoid it because I'm bad at it. If I happen to be driving, we switch. And I let you do it.
I love it.
I've done it a few times. I mean, I can do it. I just get so much anxiety. I know there's a lot of people like that, especially if there's people watching me or if I have other people in the car. I get nervous.
The trick is you have to park right next to the car in front of it, in front of the open parking spot, and then you back that ass up right in.
Is that what you're saying? Is that what's going on in your head as you're parallel parking?
I have to remind myself that cut the wheel, you won't hit the car. I promise you won't hit the car because then you start doing, the car goes outward. That's annoying parking on
right, especially
lines.
Regular parking. Parallel parking can be hard, but when you park like an asshole over two lines, like when there's no reason for it, there's no other cars near you, that's really annoying.
I suppose a lot of this is regional because I know I shouted out a lot of different territories, a lot of different states. In Rhode Island and in the Northeast, it's aggressive driving. It's not as bad as New York. New York is by far the most aggressive of all driving. New York City, I should say.
But Massachusetts is pretty bad.
Massachusetts is bad. It's a close second to New York City.
Yep.
But Rhode Island, we sort of operate under our own driving laws here. It is common knowledge that in Rhode Island, if you see a yellow light, you have to go for it.
Yeah.
It is not red. And I hate it when people stop at a yellow light.
I remember when my brother and I were learning how to drive, that's one thing that my dad always taught us. Yellow means go faster.
Yes. In Rhode Island, yellow means go faster. Beat it.
Yeah. I don't do that. I'm more cautious than you when it comes to driving.
Another driving pet peeve I have, so we live on the main road in Coventry. There's a 2-lane road at a red light. And on the right lane, you can either go straight or take a right. I fucking hate when the people are in there at a red light that are anticipating going straight, because you block that whole lane for people that can turn right on red just because you want to pass the motherfuckers on the left. I hate it.
Yeah. Although the only time I do that is if I'm coming out of one of the businesses that are right there. You can't go to the left lane. You have to stay in the right lane when you turn right on the road. But yeah, I know it's really annoying.
Hardly
the
ever
other
happens.
one that's so annoying to me is on 295. This is again really local, but there's an entrance ramp to the highway that comes in from the left. So people are entering the highway into the left lane, and that spot gets backed up all the time. There's always heavy traffic during rush hour, and so cars in both the right and left lane are all backed up, and then people are coming in. And the people who are coming in on the entranceway, of course, you come in and you go all the way up until the lanes merge and you merge in. But there are people who aren't entering the highway, who are in that left lane, who cut over into the merge lane just to cut everybody off. And then that's why it's so slow, is because everybody keeps cutting everybody off. I fucking hate that spot. I get so mad.
Moral of the story, when you come to Rhode Island, first of all, the roads are terrible. Second of all, get ready.
Yeah.
It's Mad Max style.
If I don't, before we had our daughter, I would not hesitate to block that lane.
Right.
I would sit right in the middle so that the assholes trying to cut everybody off couldn't come in.
Right.
But I don't do that anymore.
All right. Is that all for driving?
The other one was slower, distracted drivers, and also people who tap their brakes.
When being tailgated?
Yeah. Well, they didn't, the person who submitted that didn't specify. But that was my first thought too, is like, well, if you're tailgating me, I'm going to tap my brakes.
Oof. Why? You're just invited to get rear-ended.
No, that's the thing. When I say tap my brakes, I'm not actually going to slow down. It's just enough to turn the lights on to tell them to get off my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What won that one?
That wasn't part of the poll. Those were extras.
So this is what we're discussing right now.
Yeah.
So it's tapping the brakes or driving too slow?
Those were just two others that were suggested as pet peeves. Yeah.
Look, I'm of the camp. Okay, maybe this is controversial, maybe, but I'm of the camp that once you become a senior citizen and you have your discounts and stuff, and you get your senior citizens discount at McDonald's, and you get your 50-cent coffee or whatever it is, you need to go under yearly driving tests. That should be mandatory. A yearly or bi-yearly driving test. You need to have at least one driving test once every 2 years, at the very least. Because I cannot tell you how many times I've been on the highway when the speed limit's 65 and someone's going 40 because they're scared. They're scared to death. You do not
bad.
belong on the road.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I understand you may not have any other forms of transportation. You might not have anybody else to do things for you, but we live in 2020. If you need your groceries, call your supermarket. Chances are they deliver now.
Yeah.
You should not be on the road. It is dangerous.
It can be scary. Yeah, I agree.
For your sake, it's dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
The person who submitted that one about the slow and distracted drivers did admit that she's a very feisty driver, I think she said.
Okay. All right.
And it's one of our Canadian listeners.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So if she comes and travels to Rhode Island, she'll fit right in, I guess.
You will be so upset.
Yeah. All right. So I think we've touched on most of the driving pet peeves.
Okay.
There are always more.
Yes.
But all right. Next we did social media, which we've talked about how we're not super heavy users of social media other than mostly to do things for this show. But two of the things that I have noticed that always annoy me are when people overshare. So like just saying random things that nobody else cares about, like like sharing what you had for lunch or whatever on a random day, or sharing like really personal information. I've seen people post things before, like that's a picture of something like a piece of mail or a form, like if they're signing up to do something cool, but like they don't redact any of the personal information, like just blatant oversharing. And then the other one is vague. There's actually a term for it, vague booking, which is when people post very vague statuses that are like just enough information to make you concerned maybe, or to make you intrigued or wonder if that person's okay. But then when you comment, they'll be like, I don't want to talk about it.
You took the bait.
Yeah. So those were the two options.
Which one won?
I think vague booking won.
That's surprising.
Yeah.
I'd have to go with oversharing, because I can't tell you the amount of people. And again, I'm sort of getting back into the Facebook kind of, I don't want to say community, just, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Because of this show.
Mm-hmm.
So because I use it so much for the While She's Napping page, I inevitably navigate towards my personal page.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of people I had to put on mute or unfollow because it is not just because of political reasons, just because the amount of stuff. Like, I just don't understand what makes a person say to themselves, oh, I have to put this on Facebook.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to know about this. Why? I just don't understand. I don't need to see a picture of your drink. I don't need to see it. And you're right. You can respond by saying, then don't follow me.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yeah.
It's been done, but that's not what people should be responding with. The response should be, well, why am I putting this on there?
Yeah.
Not, well, you shouldn't, if you don't like it, don't look. It's no, why are you doing it?
Yeah, and I also want to give the disclaimer that I've done that. I don't think I've ever done vague booking.
I've done it too.
Maybe when I was like in college.
I've never done vague booking.
But no. I don't think I've done, I don't think I've done a lot of vague booking, but I've definitely overshared. I mean, not recently, but posting pictures of a drink or something when I'm out, and then I look back and I'm like, why? Like, yes. What was the point?
The greatest thing about Facebook's on this day is, what do I have to delete today?
Right. We talked about this on another episode. Yeah, I know.
What do I have to delete?
The worst vague booking, I think, is when people check into a hospital and that's it.
It's rare.
I've seen it a few times. And then everybody in the comments is like, oh my God, what's wrong? Are you okay? Right. And then they're like, I don't really want to talk about it.
Well, then don't put it on Facebook.
Exactly. I mean, that's like the classic vague booking. Yeah. So I find that annoying, because it's just like, why? Even more than the oversharing, I think can almost be chalked up to like, that's just part of people's habits now. People use social media so much, and it's how they connect with people and share what they're doing in their life. And so I feel like that line can get blurred pretty easily. But the vague booking is just like, why are you like, if you don't want to talk about it, or you're not going to give enough information to actually allow people to connect with whatever it is you're talking about, why do it at all?
I will concede that the point of social media is for this type of activity.
To share.
Right. And so in regards to my previous comments, why do you have to check in? Why do you have to tell people where you're at? Blah, blah, blah. I get it. That's what Facebook is all about. But at the same time, you need to have some sort of introspection and say to yourself, yo, why? Do people care? Mm-hmm. No. And you're not doing it for you. That's the response I hate the most, is when people say, well, I do it for myself. No, you don't. If you did it for yourself, you'd write it down on a piece of paper, put it in your wallet or something, and go, and that's it. Or text it to yourself.
My God, you sound like such a boomer.
You're doing it to not brag, but you're doing it to show people where you're at. Yeah, but
sharing, it's social.
Then just
that's what
that.
It is.
Don't say I'm doing it for me.
Right.
You're not.
Right. That's the whole point of it being on social media.
Yes, is to show people
to share
what you're doing and what you're drinking and your grilled cheese. Yep. That's it.
The only other one that we got besides those two poll options was people who are just plain mean on social media.
Trolls?
They didn't specify trolls, but just, I think it's kind of like the keyboard warrior type of people
trolls.
Who would, people who just, I think troll rises to another level. Like, trolls are on there just to get a rise out of people and just to be mean. Yeah. Right. But I think there's also people who just generally would say things that they wouldn't say in person online when they're behind a keyboard. They're just, people have this veil of, this like barrier between them.
Yeah.
And they can be a lot meaner than they would be in person.
You get that a lot, especially in the sports community with the other podcast that I do. If there's a take or something that's hot, I remember once when the Raptors were on a 15-game winning streak, I posted on Twitter, this should be the focus of sports coverage in Canada. Mm-hmm. And the amount of heat I got back from people saying, American over here telling us how to like our sports. Please like our sports. This is a hockey town. And
I remember that.
I said, first of all, Toronto's not a town. Second of all, that's cool. I'm just letting you know that if it doesn't matter what I said. The response was sort of kill him with kindness, but you do get a lot of those keyboard warriors that come at you. And you're right. When I would say to myself, there's no way you would say this in real life. You wouldn't.
Yeah.
And if you did, it would be much more polite and we'd have a discussion about it and we could disagree. But I think it's because the courage of a screen and a keyboard and the anonymity behind it. You can be anybody you want, and with the amount of stuff that's shared and talked about on social media and just in the world in general, it's usually forgotten about a day or two later. It's old news. Yeah,
I think that's part of what's happening now with everyone being distanced from each other and not really seeing a lot of other people in person, and why there's so much hostility on social media with some of, like, even talking about the COVID thing. And we talked about this during the pandemic episode too. Yeah. And like, that's definitely a part of it, I think. So,
hey,
that's why you don't get into Facebook arguments in the comments section with strangers on Facebook.
That's
just don't.
Mask it or casket. I posted it on Reddit, in the Rhode Island Reddit, and it got upvoted like 100 points. 'Cause people, I love this. Can I use this? And I didn't create it. I don't know where I read that before. So full disclosure, that's not something that came out of my mouth. I'm not that creative at all. I ripped it off of someone else, but sure, by all means, take it and use it. You've heard of click it or ticket. Now it's mask it or casket.
Yep.
But no, I've never interacted with someone that did any sort of vague booking. Maybe once I remember someone checking into the hospital, but this individual gave the
rest of the information,
the reason behind it.
Yep.
It wasn't sort of, oh my God, what's wrong? It was, I'm checking in to do this, but I'm saying to myself, it seems like kind of an emergency.
Yeah.
What made you take out your phone and want to tell someone or Facebook, this is where I'm at
that's a double
for
whammy.
this reason?
That's vague booking and oversharing.
Yeah.
All right. The last category was office or work-related pet peeves. And I realize right now a lot of people are working remotely, so this might be a little different than normal. But I purposefully chose two pet peeves that I think are still applicable now in our remote situation. So meetings that could have been an email. I mean, and now it's probably Zoom meetings, but regardless. Or people who don't know how to mute themselves on a conference call.
On Zoom.
Yeah. Yep. Or on any, conference call platform. But
I assume that one, the latter one.
No, it was actually 65%. So it was around 70-30 split. Most people are more annoyed by meetings that could have been an email.
Same. I fall in that category. It is the worst. The amount of times that I've gotten called into meetings, first of all, that I have nothing to do with. I have no sense of participation. This does not apply to me or my department at all. And if they do mention my department, it's that department's doing great. Keep going. And that's it. That's it.
Yeah. So there's just no need for you to be there at all.
No need. No.
I think it depends for me. It depends on what the purpose of sometimes I have meetings that are just not productive because there's no agenda, or like there's just it's same thing. It's like you're not clear on what your purpose is to even be there. But sometimes I have email communications that are also not effective and don't really get to the point, or there's no follow-up or whatever. So I think it depends. For me, it doesn't depend. For the other option, people who don't mute themselves on conference calls are always consistently annoying and it just can completely squash the productivity of the meeting altogether.
Yeah, I feel you.
There have been times, like I was on a Zoom meeting the other day, or Teams. We use Microsoft Teams now, but there was one person. Not everyone had their video on. Only a couple people did, and at one point, I think everybody else turned their video off except for one person who was eating super obnoxiously. And so that person's screen was the only thing I was seeing, and I wasn't even seeing the presenter or the person who was talking. I was just seeing someone else eating the whole time. And I'm thinking to myself, like, someone should reach out to this person and let them know that their video is on. But like, that would be super embarrassing too. So like, everybody was just watching this one person eating, and I don't even think they knew that their video was still going. And like, it's so cringy. Like, what do you even do? And it's not someone that I know, like, it's someone who works in another part of the country. It's not someone that I feel, if it was a friend of mine, someone that I worked with locally, I would text them and be like, hey, turn your video off. Everyone's watching you stuff your face.
So you could pull a Hodge twins and be like, quit smacking my damn ear. That is
I hate the Hodge twins.
my good friend who I work with. That's his biggest pet peeve. People chewing with their mouth open.
Yeah.
Hearing the sounds of...
Yeah.
I hope no one, if anyone else has that pet peeve, I apologize for that noise, but it is gross.
Yeah.
And yeah, he hates that. But going back, first of all, the amount of times that if I had a nickel for every time I've contributed in a meeting, period, I would have 0 nickels. I've never contributed in a meeting that could have been an email or just emails in general. It goes right to the trash. I tell my boss, I lie. This isn't true, but I think he somewhat believes me. He said, hey, do you get my emails? And I do. I just delete them. I say, no, I made a folder for that. It's the automatic spam folder. I don't care about your emails anymore. He's really? And it doesn't help when you're sort of low on the totem pole, like I am in my job, and sometimes your boss doesn't know your name. So we just got new offices built, and it was me, my boss, and my friend. And the boss, like the owner of the company, said, all right, boss, you and and my boss goes, Adam. His name is Adam.
He didn't call you bald kid?
No, that's what
that was
what
your
the owner
nickname
says. He's like, of course I know his name is Adam. But there's just a couple of snaps in between, right?
Yeah,
it's
totally. Mm-hmm.
Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I don't contribute in emails, because clearly my voice and opinion does not matter. So I just don't care. But no, definitely meetings that could have been an email all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. I don't participate in Zoom meetings.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, a lot of people are doing more conference calls and Zoom meetings and that sort of thing. And I think the muting thing for me, it's like there have been a couple of conference calls or meetings that actually people had to stop. They had to be like, we're going to reconvene another time because there's so much background noise.
Yes.
Like you couldn't even hear the person who was trying to talk. So it was just completely unproductive for everyone on the call, and you have to cancel and reschedule.
I shouldn't
That's
say
bad.
that. I went for the training for my job for the new program. The training was on a Zoom meeting, but I called in with my phone, and the whole time I just put it on mute.
Yeah. You should put yourself on mute and then there's always the person who starts talking and they don't realize they're muted, and they're like, hey, so-and-so, you're on mute. And it's like, ha ha ha. And it happens all the time without fail in every call. But that's better than not being muted the whole time. And you're driving and you've got like the wind going, or you've got your kids in the background, or your dog barking, or you're eating, or like having another conversation entirely. It's so bad.
How many, just out of curiosity, how many of these are millennials to boomers that don't mute?
Yeah. You know the answer.
Yeah. Mute your fucking phone, boomers. Click the mute button.
All right. So that was it for our public related polls, pet peeves. So do you want to take a break and then we can
roast each other?
Yeah.
Hang tight.
All right.
So, do you want to start with each other? Is that how we're doing this?
But first, so the poll that we put up we only did one for the relationship category, one poll.
And then everybody, the floodgates open.
Exactly. Everyone was like, pretty much everything that anyone contributed is something that we also have an issue with each other. So I'm going to start with a pet peeve that I noticed while doing the polls, that you have been double voting in our polls with your other
pet
podcast.
Peeve, or is that just something that's not a pet peeve?
No, it's a new pet peeve because I just noticed it this last week.
I'm two different entities.
Okay. So our poll numbers are skewed because Adam's been double voting with his other social media account.
No, my person.
Or you're voting on behalf of the podcast?
Yes.
The podcast?
Yes. I'm voting on behalf of Toronto Raptors fans.
Okay.
I know what they would vote for.
Of course you do.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, so with that being said, knowing that you got double votes in all of these polls.
I don't think it would have swayed it one way or the other.
No, it probably wouldn't have. So yeah, that's a perfect segue. So the poll that we did do was, which is more annoying? Hair in the shower drain, or, like stuck on the side of the shower wall, or the person just leaving their crap everywhere. And the example that I used was when there's clothes on the floor, especially if it's like right next to the hamper. And
that doesn't happen.
Are you for real?
Let's break this down. All right. We decided I should note that the hair is way grosser.
I agree. It's grosser.
And it's way more annoying. We decided when we moved into this house saying, that side of the room is mine. This side of the room is yours. Do what you want. If I have clothes and stuff on my side of the room, that is my autonomy. That is me doing what I want with my side. The thing is, I admit that it's lazy, and I admit that I'm too lazy to even throw them near the basket, so there's nothing around the basket in the first place. So when you say stuff around the basket, that doesn't happen because I guess it's on my side of the bed.
Fine, but that's not that far from the laundry basket. My point is, if you have dirty clothes, put them in the hamper.
I might wear them
again. And if they're not dirty, put them in the closet or in the drawer.
I'm a dude.
Pick one.
I might wear them again. Especially like jeans. I'm not above wearing jeans 2 days in a row.
Oh, me either. I wear jeans for like a week before I wash them. I think everybody does that.
Yeah, I'm not.
But I have a spot. I have a spot in my closet for my jeans that are going to be worn again.
Yeah, I have a spot. It's called the entire side of the room.
Yeah, but then when I have to go over there to like make the bed or something, to go to that side of the bed or even open the window or open the blinds, I trip over your shit and it's so annoying. I agree it's more gross. But by the way, I won this poll.
I'm sure you did.
Even with your double vote, you still lost.
What's the result? What was the result?
It was about 70% for leaving your crap everywhere and 30% for hair in the drain. And almost all of the votes for hair in the drain were men.
Of course.
Because they have, their significant other, if their female spouse, partner, whatever, leaves more hair in the drain. Yeah.
We've had conversations with people where they say, oh, I love leaving my hair on the shower walls. I write little messages with them. That is fucking disgusting.
Oh my God. Who does that?
I'm not putting this on the air. I'm not saying names on the air. I'll tell you later.
Someone actually did.
Yeah. Someone's told this to us. I'm sorry if you're listening. It's fucking gross.
That is gross.
But the thing
I don't do that.
No, but here's the thing. Here's why this is personally a pet peeve for me. When we first moved in together, I was a slob. I've made strides.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You definitely have.
So I was a slob when we first moved in together. And when I would shave, because I'm bald here, when I would shave my head, I would leave the shave clippings and shaving cream residue in the sink. And you would say, this needs to stop. Mm-hmm. And ever since then, every time the sink has been clean. You have not walked into the bathroom with body hair or head hair or facial hair on the floor or on the sink. It is clean. I expect the same when you get out of the shower. Clean your hair out of the hair catcher, but you don't.
I just forget because I'm usually rushing.
That's hypocrisy.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. But I'm usually rushing to go do something else, or I have someone outside the door going, Mama, Mama, Mama. Yesterday, I had to take a shower with her in there with me.
Hey, that's awesome.
No, I'm just saying, I don't get the luxury of having a long time to take a shower or do any of that. This has been a
long-standing issue.
Yeah, I know, but oh, God. No, not like it has now. And my hair is gross and falling out on it. Ever since I got pregnant, the hair has been worse because I lost all my hair in postpartum.
I can understand clothes being scattered. I get it. But hair is just gross.
Yeah. Well, and I do clean it. I'm the only one who ever cleans the tub in general,
This
not just
isn't
the
therapy.
hair.
Let's continue.
Anyway. Oh. I still won the poll.
Yeah, I'm sure you
Leaving
did.
crap everywhere is more annoying.
Okay.
Okay. So some of the other pet peeves that were left.
Well, wait. Do you want to unload here? Do you have any other pet peeves that you want me to know about that I do?
Yeah. They're not even that bad, but I hate when you look for like half a second for something and you're like, oh, I can't find it. Where's my wallet? Where's my keys? Where's my shit? I don't know where this is. Oh, I guess I got to get a new one. Guess I can't go to work.
Sometimes I freak out because those things are irreplaceable. Like if my wallet, if I
Yes,
lose my wallet, that shit
But
sucks.
you don't lose it. It's like if it's not in the first place that you look, you assume it's gone forever. And then I have to come and find it for you. And the thing is, the pet peeve underlying that, I think, is that you don't have a place for things. You just dump
I
your
do.
shit wherever.
No, I do. It's where I left it.
Yeah. So like, I know when I need my keys, I go look on the hook near the door. My keys are always on the hook.
That was the worst because ever since you started putting my keys on the hook,
You can never find them.
where the hell are they?
They're on
And you're
the
like,
hook.
did you look on the hook? Why would they be there? I don't put my shit
Because that's
there.
where keys go.
That's not where I left them.
I know, but you leave your stuff everywhere and then you can't find it. And then I have to drop what I'm doing to go handle your crisis and find your shit for you. It happens all the time.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
The other thing that you're doing that
you're giving
annoys-
me
I'm gonna go one more.
This flows perfectly into mine. Go ahead.
Okay. I already know what you're gonna say.
You're making my point.
I know. When you start using, you open a new package of something when the other thing isn't gone yet.
Because it's fresher.
What? But you just leave the other one in there. Like I went to make pancakes
Yeah.
the other day, and there were 2 open boxes of the same exact thing, the same pancake mix.
I didn't know that.
I know, because you don't even look for the one that's already open.
Like
Or you're like,
yesterday-
you tell me to add it to the grocery list.
Yesterday, there was a little bit of cottage cheese in a brand new one.
Yes.
I'm just going to eat the brand new one because it's fresher. There's nothing like the first layer of cottage cheese.
But you just opened the other one like yesterday, the day before. It's fine.
Yeah, but it's
And-
not,
but then
as,
we
it's
have
not
like
as fresh.
But then we have like 7 open containers of cottage cheese in the fridge at any given
You
time
should just
that have like 2
combine
bites
them.
left.
Combine them and glue a top on. This is fresh.
Yeah, you do that all the time.
My biggest pet peeve is you speak in paragraphs
know.
and you just did it. You never allow me to respond ever. When you're mad at me, you go on, and I'm like, can I say something?
Oh
and you
my
say,
God.
I'm not done talking. You should have been done a paragraph ago.
No, that's because when I finally get the chance to inject in a conversation, I have to get everything out in that one shot because then you're going to hijack the conversation and keep going. You do it too.
You speak in paragraphs.
No, you do it too.
I still love you.
I love you too.
All right, go ahead. Let's unload other people's
right.
dirty laundry.
Well, some of them. Okay, let's start with laundry. Good, good dad joke. Laundry. When you start the laundry by putting it in the wash and then leaving it there for days, and then it smells,
never
and then you gotta
days.
rewash.
Stop.
No,
It's
I'm talking
never
about
days.
myself. I did
Oh.
that just the other day. This was a friend of ours who gave this about her husband who does this, and that was one of them. And I'm like, I'm totally guilty of that.
Listen, I can't speak for him. I understand why that would be annoying, especially there's nothing worse than, leaving the clothes in the wash for a long time and then you open the wash door and you say to yourself, it's okay.
Yeah.
This could pass. And you throw them in the dryer. Nope. No, this is bad.
Yeah.
There have been times where you have done that and I put on this shirt and I'm like, not wearing this today.
I know.
Nope.
I'm in denial. I don't want to have to do it all over again and use more detergent and all that. But yeah, that's really annoying, but I do it too just because I forget. Or like I had to do like 3 loads of laundry back to back and it just
But
doesn't
wasn't the
work
status
out.
that, or the response rather to this was that he takes clean clothes out of the wash to wash other clothes and he doesn't put the other stuff in the dryer?
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I thought that's where this
That
was
might have
going.
been it.
That's just bad.
Yeah.
If that's the case, that's just bad.
Yeah. Yep. But your way of doing laundry just annoys me in general. You don't separate or
hell no.
do different loads. Like I do all of the towels together. I do all of our daughter's clothes together. Like,
No.
yeah. you just throw a random mix of shit. It doesn't matter if it's supposed to be washed on cold or gentle or warm or anything.
Do not care.
Yep, I know, but that's why when you wash clothes, they don't actually come out clean.
No, they're clean.
Sometimes.
They're
I've had
clean. Sometimes they just bleed over.
Yeah. Okay. You also overfill the laundry. Bad. You do.
Yeah,
It
whatever.
doesn't get clean when there's too many clothes.
I just want to get it done.
All right. The other one was not cleaning as you go when you're cooking, and I am so guilty of that.
Full disclosure, I used to work at a restaurant.
Right.
I worked at multiple restaurants, and I was a cook. So I would, when we didn't have a dishwasher, we would have to cook and clean as we go. So I fell into that habit of constantly knowing how to rather cook and do dishes at the same time. So for example, in the morning, I'm up first. I'm up at 4:30. I get my workout in, come upstairs. I start cooking breakfast at 6 a.m. Usually I'll wash the dishes from the night before if there are any. I'll wash those, fill up the sink with water, or fill up the little container with soapy water, and I'll do the dishes as I clean my food. So if I'm making scrambled eggs, I'll put them in the cup, scramble them up, put them in the pan, immediately wash that cup. Just throw it in the sink.
Yeah. I gotta focus on one thing at a time.
But you have time. Those eggs aren't even going to be cooked.
Yeah, but I'm usually when you're doing that in the morning.
I'm usually alone.
Yes. I'm never alone. I always have a little person attached to me.
But when I'm with her still, I'll just stick her into the chair, put some crayons in front of her, and then I'll do the same thing.
Yeah, I do that sometimes too.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. A lot of times I am cooking and I'll usually be putting away whatever clean dishes are in the rack while I'm cooking.
Yeah.
And then by the time that's done,
I'm not
my
hating.
food's done.
You've improved
Yeah,
on this.
I'm
because
trying.
We've vocalized this before, but my goal when I'm done in the morning is to leave you with 0 dishes.
Yeah, I know. And I always appreciate that when I wake up.
But full disclosure, I am spoiled. I do come home to a cooked dinner. So I am all for doing the dishes. Full disclosure, you say to me, no, watch our child so I can get some me time. I'll do the dishes.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to put my headphones on.
Totally fine, but it isn't
zone out and do the dishes.
a misogynist kind of do the dishes.
No, it's especially now the last few months when even though I'm working from home, I'm home and I get to be with her more often than you have.
I don't expect you to do the dishes after the fact.
Right.
I'm more than happy to do it. And full
I just want you to be
too,
able to spend some time with her.
In the morning, I'm only making my own breakfast because you'll cook yours later.
Right.
If I made yours at that point, it would get cold. Nothing's worse than cold eggs. So that's why I do the dishes because it's my mess. I should clean my mess. And this person that doesn't clean your mess, you should clean your mess.
Yeah.
You should clean your dishes as you cook.
Yep.
It's not hard. Expedite the process.
And we don't have this problem, but one of the other pet peeves was running a dishwasher when it's only partially filled.
I am the dishwasher.
I know. So you want you want the dishes to be done as we go. But if you have a dishwasher, you should fill it up as you go. But wait until it's full to run it because then you're wasting all the dishwashing detergent and everything. Like, don't run it when there's only a couple things in it. Well, if you have something that you want, but if you have like 1 or 2
just hand
specific,
wash it.
just hand wash them.
Hand wash it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't run the dishwasher.
Yeah. Wish we had a dishwasher though.
Eventually.
I wish I had that problem.
Eventually.
One day.
Give me more dirty laundry from people.
Okay. Not closing drawers.
Look. Come on. Whatever.
Oh my God. You do it. It's so funny because right after that was posted, it was not anyone who saw my Facebook comment with the picture. That was not staged at all. I saw that comment. I walked into our bedroom and I took a picture of our dresser and sure enough, every single one of your drawers was open a little bit.
It's not even enough to walk into.
No, not at that moment, but sometimes it is.
No.
If the bottom one is open, I've tripped over that. I've whacked my leg on that trying to climb over the obstacles of your shoes and other dirty clothes that are on the floor.
On my side.
It's like, I know. It's like a freaking like boulder dash to get over to your side of the bed. Yeah, that's
It's
annoying
not like
too.
I leave them out completely. They're not even half open.
The drawers?
Yeah.
But why not just close them all the way?
I don't know.
I don't get it. Or sometimes you leave the kitchen cupboards open too.
Yeah, I do that. But
really
it's mostly
annoying.
because I'm concentrating on cleaning and cooking at the same time.
Well, that's not a big deal. Just go in and shut it. I mean, that's not a big deal, but it is annoying.
Sure.
Another one was volume, general volume.
Oh, like music volume
or
and
talk.
stuff?
Probably. I don't know if it was just like speaking, or I think it's more things like the TV or if you're listening to
Listen,
something.
if you're listening to music not loud, what are you doing? Music should be played loud. Unless you're studying or reading a book, I can understand why you'd want it soft. But maybe this is probably unhealthy for my ears. If I'm working out, that shit is cranked to 10.
Well, sure, but I'm talking about especially if you don't have headphones in and you're playing something and it's
If I'm
distracting
cleaning
to
the
someone
house,
else who's
Crank that music.
right. But if I'm doing something else in the other room, that's kind of rude.
That's why we do headphones.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more of the TV. You always blast the TV. Like there are times when
Sometimes the volume gets out of control
it
because
depends
of the
on which
production
thing,
of the show.
Yes, or some of our apps are louder than others.
Yes.
But there have been times where it's a situation where I put my headphones on, I'm trying to listen to a podcast or whatever, and I'm doing the dishes, and you're watching TV with our daughter, and I can hear the freaking Muppets or Sesame Street louder than I can hear my podcast in my headphones.
We're watching YouTube videos. There are various clips of Sesame Street on YouTube, and they're different channels.
Fine, but you have a remote with a volume button, so you should change it.
I understand.
It's blasting. You listen to things so loud, I can never talk to you.
I love it. Especially when I'm cleaning, because if I have the headphones in, you're trying to talk to me, and I'm like,
that's why you do it.
I don't know what you're saying. Because I'm in the zone, and it's whatever. But when we watch things like, especially Chicago PD or any of the Chicagos, there'll be dialogue, and it's at a perfect decibel level. And then when they get into the ambulance, fucking Dick Wolf wants to crank the volume, and somehow we have to turn it down to decibel 2 because our daughter will wake up because of the sirens.
It's true. It's all over the place.
It is so loud.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's the production value of the show that the levels are just unlevel. I guess the volume, the decibel levels are all over the place depending on the scene. It happens.
Yeah. Yep.
What else we got? Give me some dirty laundry.
Not shutting the shower curtain. It's related to the hair. But then the curtain gets like moldy or mildew on the bottom if it like stays scrunched together, because then it doesn't dry.
It only bothers me when I know we're having company. But that doesn't happen in our house. We always shut it. It sucks because our shower hooks are loud.
They are loud.
It's metal to metal.
Yeah, but it's not that so what?
In the morning when I get out of the shower and our daughter is still sleeping.
That's the least of your worries is the shower curtain.
No, I just like to minimize noise. And I'm only concerned about that if we're having company. I'm more concerned now because our daughter is starting to get very curious. And if we kept it open, she'd just flip in.
Oh, of course she would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she saw the opening. But otherwise...
Well, that's because you're not the one who washes the shower curtain.
Is that though? I can't relate to that pet peeve. Obviously, things are deeply personal when it comes to pet peeves. I just can't relate to that one.
No, well, neither of us do it. But if you did it, that would really annoy me.
Okay.
Yep.
Fair enough.
That was pretty much it.
Shut the shower curtain, man. Person, woman. I don't know who put that. It's all anonymous to me.
Yep.
Shut it. But that's it. That's all we got. All right. Well, if you have any other pet peeves that you want to contribute to the show, please leave it on our Facebook page or on our Twitter or on our Instagram. There was no other Twitter pet peeves?
They were all related to the polls.
Yeah, nothing. That's it. No
we
relationship.
already mentioned
all right,
it. Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, so next week we're going to do toxic masculinity. This is going to be good. I want all the dudes listening to this, and I understand based on the analytics of this podcast that I can see it's a good 65-35 split women to men, toxic masculinity. So you 35%ers out there, us dudes, let me know what you think toxic masculinity is, because if I'm going to give a preview to next week's show, I just don't think it exists. I just think they're shitty people.
Oh,
that's just me.
Okay.
But we'll get into that next week. But look, thanks for listening to the show. If you haven't already and you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please give us a 5-star review if you liked it. And if you didn't like the show, don't give us 1 star. Just unsubscribe. Don't listen to us again. No big deal. No harm, no foul. But if you do like what you heard, leave us a review, subscribe to the show. And that goes for all platforms too. We're on them all. Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, all the podcast platforms you can think of. We're there. Just subscribe to our show and we'll continue to give you weekly content. Remember, these episodes are being released Monday morning, 6 a.m. It's a nice little thing to kick off your week. We are on vacation this week, so we're doing nothing.
I'm shampooing that rug again.
Complete staycation. The benefits, I guess, of COVID is that we don't have to spend money and go anywhere, so we're just staying home.
Mm-hmm.
Staying home.
Yep.
And it's raining all week.
Yep.
But again, if you want to get in contact with us, hit up our Facebook page, facebook.com/whileshe'snapping, Instagram @whileshe'snapping, Twitter @she'snappingpod, and email
whileshe'snapping@gmail.com.
Hit us up. Tell us what you think of the show, what we need to improve on, if anything. And if you want to contribute to it, we'll be more than happy to talk about what you want to talk about. Anything. So until next week, happy Canada Day. Happy 4th, everybody. Take it easy.
Bye.